I'm not late. You're late. One of the files was a little bit angry. It took me longer than expected. But looks like we're in there. We're in there. Let me pull up the stream so I can read chat. I don't need an ad, Twitch. Thank you very much. But it's whatever. Okay. We have any gamers in chat for me to prioritize, or am I just getting into it? We'll practice and be in view for like 1 second while people filter in. My keyboard bit register? There we go. Or not keyboard, whatever it's called. Oh, it's because I'm in the funny mode. Yeah, it's always a little funny, isn't it? We're too far. Numbers flowed in. If there's anyone in chat, I'll prioritize you first. There we go. Otherwise. Do I have this one? No, I do not. But if no one's speaking up, well, I'll just get right into it with whoever's first. So, Kravidonk. I think, yeah, Richard. Alright. Look at the fortune. Well, look at the fortune, but I think they asked specifically more to focus on the peacock. Am I right? Do I remember correctly? Getting in on P with fortune. And keeping Roboband out. Okay. I can definitely answer the fortune questions. The P versus Robo matchup, I don't know if I understand the minutia of enough to give you good advice. I'll do my best and I'll theory craft, but that is probably something to prod the minds of other P and fortune, Robo players, honestly. They'll understand the matchup a lot better than I will. Let's get into it. What do we got?
It all depends on your skill. Action.
Fiber, head off. Okay, so I'm not gonna say head off is bad in this matchup. I kind of like playing it, but you have to play it in a kind of deliberate way. And the interaction you're really trying to work with here is that, I don't know if you saw it there, Zoom clears the projectiles. Oops, I need to block first. Oops. So you can use the head to clear things on the ground that are coming at you. And if it's close enough to P, then you can just try these. And obviously let's replay desynced, but... So your puppeting needs to be really strong in this matchup. We're in? Is the head still in play, though? Should have been, I don't think. That might have been after the changes. Oh wait, you only did single hit a medium kick. Does that change the timing? We'll take it a little later. This is all the wrong one. Okay, it was the single hit. So, for future reference, you can do this. You kind of have to be aware. Oh wait, did I not get the Gato after? You should go up there. Wow. Okay. Is there any way to solve this? Looks like. Okay, let me take control a little earlier. Hold the button. Why can I not take this over where I want? So. How did I get this to connect? I swear there's a way to salvage this. You can do that. Really? Yeah, the second hit won't connect. Oh, weird. I guess if you're worried about the time... Well, okay, so one, if you're worried about the time, let all hits with a medium kick rock. That should combo. What did I mess up there? So you can do that instead of roll. And even if your head isn't there for that, you get the OTG off of Aligato. So you have options. Yeah, your head just barely wasn't on cooldown because you used it earlier. So instead of hitting it here, if you just send it instantly, that's really good for you. Oh, that was not supposed to reset. But yeah, you could have just sent the head. And like the reason you'd want to do it early, even if you don't do it like as early as I did, even if you wait until you're here, look, it clears it clears that. And then you just get to run in and go. Whoops, didn't get my launcher, but. Zoom is really good in this matchup. Zoom is really silly good in this matchup. But the second your head's like this, it's painful. And this is where being used to puppeting your head helps. Getting used to moving with it. And now your head's here. I didn't get my... But even still, your head's here. You get to send it in. I thought I was space right for that. But, yeah, moving your head in neutral is gonna help a lot. It's a lot to think about. This matchup is a lot harder than just head-on versus normal Peacock. Or, well, head-on versus Peacock. Kill. Telepotato. Right there. And now we zone. Do you have zoom assist? I do not like the aggression. You have no reason to be moving forward. It is zoom assist. Wait. Okay. Scared me for a second. Yeah, good patience. Understand what they're looking for. Turn in. I like everything I've seen so far. Turn in, get checked, it happens. I'm not the biggest fan of that fiber. Now you're kind of stuck on the other side. A little bit of sweaty. I do not need to jump here. Whoops. A little too early. Forward over that. You can just run underneath. You're fortunate. You get to do that. Like... Fortune specifically, or like... Right, it's the launcher. This is my general rule of thumb for most Peacock matchups, but Fortune is really good at this in general. If you can stay on the ground, it tends to be one of the better things to do. Because you're not committing any movement resources. If you want to think about your air dash or your double jump as a movement resource, this keeps all your options available and allows you to be as reactive as possible to what zoning is happening. And so like what you did earlier, where was it? Dealing with this, just dashing, dashing, dashing. Sometimes you get caught just dash blocking. But like, this jump, actually you could have gone under this too, but that's kind of hard. Oh, the medium kick, right? So, you saw a wall you couldn't run through, you go over. Otherwise, stay on. This one's a little hard because, I mean, this is the funny approach me, I dare you. But, Fortune can shoot this gap if you want to be technical. Where is it coming in? Here? Can I get this? No, please. Oh, does Robot prevent this, actually? She's on the way. Because you can shoot the gap in between these with IAD jump like, but it's kind of hard. It's a pretty technical option, and it looks like the assist is in the way anyway. Okay. But instead here, I was dash blocking you. Was it not? You can kind of force that issue. That's not a button dash. I thought I already used that, yeah. That was a little greedy there. Heavy counter hit. So her mid-screen mix is pretty good. My inclination here still is going to be too late. And then kind of just corner things. Whoops. I'm much more inclined to... Did I... What? Control that head and... Like, being in this position as the cat is just ridiculous. I don't know the combos. I fortunate rusty. That's nice. Dang. Kind of just unfortunate. You gotta delay it a little bit more. Now you know. Zoom. Go through the brass. Wait, what? Oh, you got hit by that heavy punch. Good night. If you're doing this, just spin the bar. Don't think there's any real good way for them to punish you for that. They could beam super, but you've gotten your character out. Disagree. Even if this hits, what is this? How does... Bam goes kaboom. Zoning. What did we do? Kind of just poked a hole in what you were doing. And like, zoning when the robo specifically is here, like this is just L-beam fodder anyway, even if they don't shoot the scap as well as they did. So if anything, they'd probably be trying to do an item drop, but that feels a little bit... I don't know. You should have died for that. I think they can punish you. No. Wait, what? Why Why does that punch me in the face? Max range shed. Nah. I think you should die for this. Really? Yeah, it's not gonna work. This doesn't counter it though. Just the weird part. Whatever. Okay. So really good job little recovery. Was the item drop on cooldown? So I think here, if you recognize this. You get your combo. Ah, give me my item drop. Like, yeah. You know, I mean, you know the deal. This should have been a better character. One thing I am noticing with the Peacock is a pretty big reliance on ending as well. They were trying to throw you to is the saddest part to them. We're just a little slow on the whiff punch. Okay. That teleport I don't mind as much. Because, what's it called? They had the meter advantage, so honestly... Wow. Okay. But where? If you were slightly faster with your reactions. It's hard, but getting used to special canceling into reversals when you can't avoid an assist tends to be a pretty good habit. Good jump out. Would you not? I understand you're approaching at the bomb. I don't necessarily think it's necessary. So it forces me to play the game again. Yeah. They could have level 3'd for that, so be careful, but they don't get much off of it, so you're not really sweating it all that much. If they jump over that H-Ping though, you're kind of sad. It becomes a little scary. I think they're just using fiber and too willing to go into the air. Again, I really like staying on the ground. So, they're giving you the space to run at them on the ground. Kind of just take it. So yeah, that is crazy. So run at them until they don't give me space on the ground anymore. and then stick on them when they let you in. I super jumped too late. It really crossed me up. Like, even if you stay full screen here and the zoning pattern is slightly different. That's a pretty good place to kind of consistently air throw as well. If you feel like you're gonna... Wow, that's really too tall. I mean, they've been going mostly headless. But even if you want to set this up, I kind of like you doing it a bit more like this. Because, I don't know, the fiber can get tagged by a lot of different things. Use the head to help do. Use the head to help you approach. Yeah, it's very much to kind of just giving you space to run up them on the ground. Take it. And then when they bail out like this, why is this recovering so fast? God. This is how you know I'm old, because I still do cast scratch loops. Also, you see this, chicken block it, for the record. Because even if you mess up the chicken block, you can kind of go into stuff like that. I think this is a falling jump light punch angle as well. Yep. Jump light punch is the I'm on top of you button. It's really good for this, it's why double players press it all the time. Jump light kick, while a really good button, has its faults. And if you don't know what side people are going to be on, do this. Really good jump in. Does this work on Peacock? I'm curious. Game. Where's my punch? It does. It's just a knowledge check mix, but man, is it fun. Okay. I assume this was just misinput. Kill? I mean, they're not quite dead, but... Love to see. Alright, set that up. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's banned. Instead of doing all this, I'm genuinely probably, especially because the end is useful anyway. Maybe this. Just... Oops. There, that's not how you And then, oh my god, I'm canceling all the heavy punches. But yeah, just kind of go back to zoning. You're letting the band closer, which is exactly what he wants. Double jump out. I agree. Boop, 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 boop. So, one thing to think about is that interesting. They kind of nerfed it so you actually no, you can act pretty quickly after it. Wait, what do you mean you can't burst sound stun? I don't think I ever knew that. But yeah, like this is really good for you. And you can just like level 3 anything they try and check you with on reaction. Okay, your head's behind him. Oh, this time. Good PvGC. You have these? Let's go! Just because technically whoops. You don't have OTG, that's not fair to do. Technically you should probably be doing that. But doesn't matter, you got ratio, you got bar. Pop, pop, pop.
Let's do this in one take. Showtime.
Doom. So again, I know, just look at zooms rock more. Don't cancel them, just leave always. So what happens here if you just kind of let the zoom do its thing? That's not the input. And you're kind of just letting the head do a lot of work for you. Because now it's on a massive cool. Oh, that would make it quieter or something. Oh, sad. Kill him? Kill her? Seriously, small girl? So, kind of going back to the previous point. They give you ground space? Also, Sam, focusing more on movement, because I can't do both at the same time. Embrace doesn't have those. God, save yourself. Really? Oh yeah, you can't make it up. What? I made it under. But the other thing again, approach with the head. If you're holding forward to approach anyway. Just run at her. Even, like, one of the things I love doing on this character is using button dashing with heavy punch. So I'm holding forward and doing that at the same time. Oops. But because of the inputs here, they're a little weird. And then you clear the thing on the ground. But yeah, otherwise, going on the ground until something stops me. Oops, I'm gonna chicken block that. Or just go under, go on the ground until something stops. Right, your fortune. You can just... Stupid Avery, right? Oh, whoops. But that, I mean, that's both. Approaching on the ground is so good for this character. If they don't put anything on the ground that prevents you from approaching on the ground, just approach on the ground. It tends to be a pretty good rule of thumb in general versus peek up. Staying on the ground gives you access to the most options. Also, I'm pretty sure you get punish here. Wait, can you not PBGC Zoom? Oh, it was just outright on cooldown because of the other bomb. Okay, well. Can I get my PBGC back? What? Game. Am I just washed? Can I not PBGC? There we go. PBGC? PBGC? PBGC dash. What? You've got to be kidding me. There we go. Enforce your turn. Don't gotta hold all this box up. Okay, this matchup is painful. If you can keep the head on her, you're in a good spot. If you can't, honestly, I understand. You gotta get projectiles out. There you go. Last thing you can do is stop zoning this is the character, because then she's won. You have to figure out where she's trying to poke holes, and avoid it, and then immediately get your zoning going. It's hard. And I wish I could point out more specific examples. Whoop! Bah. A little bit of spaghetti. A lot of bit of spaghetti. Yep, that hits the head. Guess tech. Oh yeah, yeah. What happens? Oh, whoops. That's game. God, this character. Oh wait, can't really. That's not where I put my head. Oh, I did zoom. That's why I went so far. Oh yeah, you can also just... You can also just hit her. You can hit her and get rid of it too. This is a lot to think about mid-match. But food for thought. You can get really creative with this character. Too much. I did not mean to zoom. Too much. Yeah. There's gotta be a way to kill here. I'm just bad. Yeah, you don't actually have to respect all this, but I understand the value. I love that jump cancel. That was really smart. That was very well done.
Make it flashy, guys. Showtime. All right, show's over. Let's do this in one take. Action.
When did I mute? Oh my god, I am so sorry. When did that happen? How long have I not been talking for? Anger. But yeah, staying on the ground. Very important. Very, very important. But yeah, fortune, you're privileged. You can make it things. Okay, it hasn't been that long then. But yeah, so to reiterate, alpha counter for having an alpha counter punish for banned draw tag, pretty important. It's conditional based on where the head is, so important to know. But Peacock doesn't really have a punish for banned tag, so having that in your back pocket is good to know. Here again, just go on the ground until they force you to do something. And I know this is like a scary commitment with item drop going, so if you want to play it a little bit slower, like this. I didn't get my jump. And if you want to play it a little bit more like... Aye, my movement. Bad. But, so I'm staying on the ground until I see that heavy punch. And then it's like, okay, we go. Yeah, same thing here. Staying on the ground. Ah! That didn't combo. But, yeah. You get the point. You see the vision. Again here. What's this jump for? What are we jumping over? Just approach. Look at how much ground you cover. And then you can do stuff like this. Force the issue. You can play patient and see if you can bait a teleport. Okay, you can wait for them to jump, call your assist to catch them and short their landing. You have all these options on the ground. Oh no! Instead of this. Did that combo? No, it didn't. Game. Yeah, okay, that's enough. What are your options? No, I think light is your best bet. Tech control of this replay, I'm such a good time. Does that really not combo? You're sweaty! I'm so bad at this. In theory, this is easier on Peacock than anyone else. But... well, what happens if instead we go to the corner? Yeah, okay, you get him. So, you get punishes. Having throw confirms for fortune is painful though. Makes that situation a little more annoying. You're swinging on the way down? For item drop? Alright, get this combo and keep going. Also, what did I just say? Unfortunate. What's all this about? Keep track of IPS. Okay, so two big things for Fortune versus P. Staying on the ground more. You just take to the air all the time. Stay on the ground more, you have more options available to you. Plain and simple. The other one is get a little bit more comfortable using your head proactively in that matchup. Head to clear the ground projectiles is really good. And you don't need it to be zoom sneeze. It can be, depending on your goal, but genuinely just like moving the head forward and then zooming right before it hits something to clear that and get as much distance as possible. Quite good. That is a hard matchup to play if you're not comfortable using the head neutral. I like playing that matchup when I'm feeling good about Fortune, but more often than not I stick to head on because it's just a lot simpler. It's a lot simpler. For the Peacock, a lot of aggression, a lot of sweep into projectile in your face, a lot of cross-up shenanigans, the whole P special. I think you can just zone a little more, especially in certain situations where like the game state is heavily in your favor. So like you got that going for you. Why risk it? Especially versus a character like Big Band. Beyond that, versus Robo, the matchup seemed to be a lot of you just need to get in her way. So if you're spamming L-beam, avoid it and kind of take the space she's giving you. But otherwise, Airshow George is really good to get out. Item drop is really good to get out. Otherwise, I might just have to point you towards other Peacock and Robo players because I don't have too much more advice for the like minutia. It's a matchup that's beyond me. I do not understand either of those characters well enough. Other things for the Peacock. Your defense was pretty reliant on punch move. Try and make it a little bit more annoying to approach you, either getting projectiles out, and don't do the approaching yourself. So again, they get mid-range. This is not the go-ahead to sweep all the time like you did. Instead, like throw out Airshow George, or up back jump medium kick air dash, either forward or backward, because jump medium kick will just lock them in place, and then either commit to zoning or go forward off of that block stun sort of deal. Jump heavy punch is a really funny button. Press it a little bit more. Avery is a really funny button. Press it a little bit more. Yeah, I feel like that's the majority of what I have to say. Also, the drops. I know you know, but the drops are pain. So let's clean them up a little bit. I feel like those are my biggest pieces of criticism. You know the deal. You watch this sometime in the future. you have questions. Uh, if you want me to redo the situation where I was apparently muted, just send me a ping. I'll answer whatever comes your way. Or you send my way. Wow, I'm a little tired. I'm ready for the weekend. But yeah, okay. Let's hop on to Grabadonk. What are we looking at? Escaping when they get in on P. Alrighty. Playing against Gnark. Good ol' EU lad.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
Full jump. Got Shark, swiping the way down, trades in favor. He didn't leave. Not quite dead. Come on. And now we play the game like this. Get her out. They're really gambling on that? Okay. But my question for you is, if instead of doing this, what? What if they just sat here and did nothing? Or even worse. Killed you. Because if they're just patient, you're dead. So, I do not like this. You reacted accordingly for the situation you put yourself in, but you gave them basically a guaranteed punch if they played. You're full and busy, so you kinda don't care. This hurts, but you're fine. You have to assist. Take away. Hate all of this. Because you could have also teched down to this. Yeah. All this was bad. So you can take that. Like, yeah, I hate all of this. Even... you can build the bar for SSJ Lenny. And that's your way out. Like, oh, if you're goated. Never mind. Really. But still, yeah, it's a painful situation. Trade? Yeah. And I think we've had this talk before, but just in case, it's very easy, it's easy to give more consistent advice if you send in a consistent set rather than a handful of sets. I understand, obviously you can send in whatever, but just food for thought. Sending off one-off games is it's a bit hard to give, or see whole trends, which is the thing I'm kind of looking for with you. I'm not a super nitpicky, detail-oriented person. I'm looking to see how you play the game, how it can be in the general trends. I think that was supposed to reset. Wait, you can press that? I feel like you should press that. What? I'm either mashing jab here, or I'm mashing... What? Okay, there we go. But yeah, that's my turn. I'm pressing here. I'm not trying to turn trap.
Time to put on a show. Let's rock.
That's not a round start. That's not a thing. Don't do that. Unless you're like really calling out something, you're taking so many risks. You're taking so many risks. You're actually just hitting the slot machine every time you're playing defense. Have you blocked once? Just kind of this. So, round start, insane nonsense. Doesn't lead to conversion. You press while getting mixed. You press while getting mixed. You H-brass in neutral / disadvantage. You press while getting mixed. You press while in disadvantage. I'm not gonna be super mad about that. Up back air throw is a decent defensive option. Still chose it. No. If anything. I don't have the time for this, I guess. Yeah, okay, they've set you up to die. I think you just need to let Vanish die there. Because now this character is dying and Band lost all the health anyway. Press while getting mixed. And you're mashing. gonna watch this game. If it's more of the same, I'm gonna see if you submitted something other than Mario. But Mario's a really good player. One of them, like genuinely one of the best. And very much caught on to the fact that this is literally all you're doing. Regardless of thought, you are just not playing defense. Thankfully. So they are doing everything in their power to just call you out on it. So they do pressure that keeps them plus, it's their turn, they bet on you pressing, they are right. You can't even swing him. You're literally not playing defense. And they call Bomber because they're just going to call it DP assist on offense because they know you can press. Okay. Okay, now Andrew. Let's see if this set is different. Because the Mario games... You were just... The problem is they know so consistently what you're gonna do. Played risky, played the fire and got burned. Andrew setup. Andrew drop. Block. Bonk. Bonk. That's really cute, actually. Why did you just... Need I say more? It worked. But we still knew this was the option you were going to choose. Every single time. What do you do with it? Dash in, dash on, it happens. At least you're guest teching. That's not coming in swinging. Pressing again into H-Brass, which is unsafe. Bonk. I'm gonna watch one more game, and if it's still more of the same, I think I have all the advice I really need to give based off of these sets. Whoops. Because there is one very consistent problem. And it's that you're not playing this game. Every time. Pretty sure here, on reaction, you can do this. So you can at least make him take a chunk of damage for this. Depending on spacing, you have this. Oh, you don't have OTG, so that's not gonna work. But you know band running better than I do. You have a consistent answer. Or that's not the corner art at all. beat catches. Understanding your cancel options to punish that, very important for Beowulf. We don't... Wait, I did that too early. I know there's a way to get off that, but I can't remember at this point. But I mean... Yeah, no, that's exactly what you wanted. You can get a full combo off that a couple different ways. Alright, where's the brass in neutral? You break, you break. No, I'm... Oh, there's the brass. There we go. There's the A-train. There's the brass. Do it again. How did I know? What? No! This is the... It's my... This is the I can get hit option. Cause, like... I messed up. You should be guaranteed dead for this. I don't fully know how to do it with this character, but you should be dead for this. Come on. But they definitely get to do like anything like that. Like, there's so many different ways you die here. I don't understand Robo well enough to fully show you every single example, but you gotta do Lenny there. That is not an Argus. Punch move, we're mashing on defense. I kill him. So after the corpse dies, is there any reason you don't just commit crimes? And just go zone? Because now you're stuck in the corner. It's a little tough. H-Bang is a very committal move. Not allowed. What did you press? The girl's right in front of you. By the way, Rod Tag there is an awful idea. For the record, you still die. Look! The tag is still covered, and then you brass, and you die. Also, oops, I did not mean to stop motion. You gotta know this by now. Oh, I guess it doesn't hit the assist. Never mind. I agree. It's not worth it. Where are we racing? Wait, you already used on stun, didn't you? Yeah, you did. Okay. Even then... Just kill her. What? Am I crazy? operation. There we go. Okay. Oops. And then you tag the peacock. Like, just kill her. Just kill her. This is so greedy for no reason. And you should have died for that. You died for that. Okay. So, I think I've seen enough. And this is... I apologize if this comes off as a bit harsh, but like some tough love is needed. You are not playing a two-player game. You're not... At least when it comes to certain aspects of your game plan. Your defense is very one note, and that is a massive problem, especially because the one note you choose is the riskiest option possible. You are not choosing to block, which is fundamental to playing the game. I can't focus on what you asked for, which is like how to get Peacock out of a bind when you're not you're your Peacock isn't sitting there just blocking and push blocking. You're not doing a fundamental part of defense in this game. You are sitting there mashing M-bang, you're sitting there mashing raw tag, and that's not going to get you out, as you saw in all of those games. It does not get you out. It gets you hit, it gets you counter hit, then you're in the blender for defense, where you swing again and get counter hit again. Again, if you watch the Mario set, Mario plays a whole game either playing situations where he's plus, or situations where it's kind of ambiguous whose turn it is. But he just runs at you with an assist behind him because he knows you are going to press. It's not a question of what will this player do on defense. The answer is he's going to do something stupid that's going to get him hit. And that needs to change. Because it doesn't matter which option you choose. Every single one of the options you choose, which there are a plethora, it's varied. But the problem is they all lose to someone being patient and waiting for you to just hang yourself. So you need to change on defense. Neutral as well, we can talk about, because it's still very risky. You're going for H-brass at neutral. If you want to brass a neutral, M-brass. M-brass and L-brass. They're very useful, they're much easier to space. H-brass is an assist. H-brass is not a neutral tool unless you're calling out someone. Or like you really need that full screen hit. And that's a read. That is not what your neutral is. Or it should not be what your neutral is. It is what your neutral is. We gotta have more. I said it earlier, every time you're playing defense, you're literally just hitting the slots machine. But the problem is the game's rigged against you, because you are not in control. And your opponent, if they know that's what you're doing, you're just gonna get run down. So it has to change. And like, I know I'm hammering this point home, and it's like my one piece of advice, but it is vitally important that you change this habit. Otherwise, versus better players, you're not gonna get to play the game. You lose one neutral interaction. And they know what you're doing on defense, which means you are straight up just dying every single time. How you play really good defense is you keep your opponent guessing. Obviously, good blocks help. Being able to throw tech helps. Like, you have all of those options. But one of the most important things to do on defense is to not be predictable. Which is the exact opposite of what you do. And so I know I've said it in like 5 different ways, but plain and simple, you have got to stop mashing. You need to change your habits. And again, I'm sorry it's coming across as a little bit harsh, but it is a very, very important message I need to get through to you. Because if you don't change that, not much else around is going to change it either. Hope this helps. On that note, I will be moving on. And you know the deal. If you want to talk about this more, if you have any further questions, please ping me in the server. I'll gladly elaborate in any other way to try and make it make sense. But as is, there's not much else to talk about until that gets changed. Alright, Robin. What do we want? Anti-neutral feels weak. Anti-neutral is kind of peculiar. It's a little one note, so it's hard to play versus players who know how to play around it. Let's see what you got. Marie and Annie. Marie Dittos.
Quiet on the set. Action.
Laser. Oh my god. What have I called it? Oh, the hive mind. God, I do not know how to give advice on this matchup. What are y'all doing? You are conceding more ground. Let's see if that's a consistent mission. Right now you got hit. Oh, I think I've reviewed for you before, so one thing I want you to think about, your movement habits. All of your movement habits. This is the big one I'll harp on, but like a general rule of thumb, thinking about movement is probably more important than you give it credit for. Why do we tech backwards here? So, you have 3 options. So, tech back. What does teching backwards do? Teching backwards drains half the Indizzy we had and puts us at a standard recoverable rate here. Second option, tech forwards. Drains half the Indizzy, gets you out of the corner. More often than not, I'd rather you do this than tech backwards. Third option to mix in. Absolutely nothing. Variable get-up time. This, doing this, a whole lot of nothing. More effective than you might think it is, especially you as a Marie player. So, reason this is a pretty strong option is, oh, I prefer this over teching backwards. So the main advantages this has over teching backwards. 1, you don't drain on Dizzy. So your opponent has less combo to work with. 2, everyone techs at the exact same time, so it makes a standardized time for your opponent to pressure. Doing neutral getup, characters have variable wake-up times, which means if you do nothing and then get up, some characters would already be able to be hit here, where Marie cannot. The reason I say Marie in particular is a really good character to do this with, her wake-up time is so drastically different from the rest of the cast just because Liam felt like it, I guess. You can really throw people off. It is so out of whack for this character. So you can kind of just do nothing, and then just play defense. But, highly recommend. If you're gonna tech forward be your default option. And so like these are kind of minor details, but they actually have a pretty big impact. Because so many people autopilot tech backwards here, and like, oh, defense is so hard in this game, what am I doing? It's like, my brother in Christ, you kind of did this to yourself. You have options to make. You didn't have to respect that. But because you unknowingly, unthinkingly, put yourself in a really bad situation, defense became a lot harder for you. Food for thought. And then, like, the moral of the story, I want, if you're teching like that, I want there to be intent behind it. I do not want it to be all that. That is an important thing. Oh, that's not what you wanted. At the assist, I agree. I think I called out with it. Where did you come? I didn't believe. I'm just a little too slow on the medium. That happens. What in the... That's a trade. This is not a situation where I think you get to do that. Here, I'm super jumping out and then playing from there. Because you can even just super jump up like this and then just literally be unreachable. What is the... Okay, that's punch. There we go. Like... Just do something like that and become uninteractive for a second. Take to the skies. Play the runaway game you were meant to play. Alright, what is your enemy doing? Up X full screen dive kick, okay. Approach jump light kick. Honestly, I like that. I like that I'm saying that. That is a good neutral habit. It's a strong space control tool when your opponent isn't here. Is that a dive kick? No, it's not. Or wait, is that a dive kick? That was a jump medium punch with an assist for you. A little ambitious. If I see it one more time, I think I'm gonna say there's an over-reliance on dive kick for your neutral. But that being said, this can't be a really fun matchup for Annie in the first place. So let's see what we can theory craft. Let's see what we can get out of this. Is that really a round start? I don't think I like that. You don't use the medium kick to bail out? You could just avoid it. You do not have to respect those lasers. First. I guess their DPU is just better. Just mirrors. domed overhead. Getting domed overhead. Yeah, right now you're just in the blender. Somebody in here told no, we're getting hit. Burst. You're getting punched. Kill. Kill him for this. That's so unfortunate. You're just a little too slow. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. I know you're in an install, so it changes things a bit. But there's definitely an over-reliance on that big fairy enemy neutral. Definitely an over-reliance. Alright.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
What was the system called? What would it have accomplished? One thing I am noticing with this Murray, I want your laser choices to be better. And I know it's kind of hard to get used to, especially in the heat of the moment, but pay attention. That one makes sense. They were full screen when you did it. Evidence part 2. Why are we doing the full screen laser when they're literally on RS? L laser all day, every day. And so, like, the thing is, even if you're worried about them not quite approaching you, or like if you're worried they won't approach you, okay, they're full screen away when you're recovering from L laser. Again, they're running at you. Okay, this one's not as bad. But you still know they're coming. So, the way I'll kind of talk about these is the same way I'll think about Valentine and Fuqua zoning. I would always recommend choosing the one that you feel less bad if they avoid. And essentially what that ends up being is, I would rather undershoot and have the projectile in between me and them than overshoot and have the projectile do nothing behind them as they're running at me. So by default, if I think they're being aggressive, I'm choosing L or M laser. And I'm only choosing H laser if I feel like I can guarantee they're holding it, if it'll be effective. Because right now you're defaulting to H laser in situations where people are clearly trying to run at you and just throttle you. Good DP call. Oh, weird. Okay, not bad. Kill. This is so unstable. Oh, spaghetti. Lots of spaghetti. No confirm. Spaghetti all over the floor. Lots. Ooh. Oh, no. You had 3 bar. Keep your turn. Not you like it. Do your safety HC. Don't kill your character for no reason. I know it's an extra bar. Spend it. It's worth it. Trust me. So worth it. Ah, that's hard. forward into unblockable. Feels bad, man. Yeah, you gotta respect the bubbles. Unfortunately. They do command respect. Actually, oh, I'm curious. Level 2 early. Oops. Oops, I need to wait till the land. Oh, you don't have the bar. Never mind, ignore me. Well, okay. I wasn't thinking about it, but that's honestly not a bad option. While you're in this, they don't affect you. So that's your answer. Obviously, it's risky. But if you want to press, that's probably your bet. That's not the setup. No, dropping it a little bit. Oh, have fun playing the game. Yeah, you gotta just respect it. Otherwise, you're gonna get got. Kinda just gotta respect it. It's hard. It's not fun, but they spent the bar. Kill him. No! No! Oh, you kinda have to press the issue. Yeah. You don't know which gun to use. No! No, no, it's your chance! Oh! Oh, you had your shot. Unfortunate. You weren't quite ready to capitalize.
The gorilla fate is yearning. Action.
I just am calling your assist there. Kind of weird, it didn't quite work, but you were just a little late. Yeah, first one, projectile hit, they can hit you. Attack backwards, not enough. Get the bunny out. Use the pressure. Wow, got you. Good overhead. Kill. Yes. Good. So, thing to think about here, and I know this is getting a little bit into the weeds in terms of details, but that's not what I meant. So here, we're running an incoming where we have Bunny to kind of keep ourselves safe. We are double dipping and using 2 resources to achieve the same job when you call the enemy assist here. So instead of doing that... Oh, you called it so early. What if you ran your pressure and then saved your assist to let you re-up on your pressure? I know that's getting more intermediate and advanced, but I kind of want to just point that out and get your gears turned. Thinking about the tools you use them, why you use them, how you use them. Okay, neutral. What is our hand? Yeah, that kind of sucks. She just did ugly things. Definitely feels like we're still trying to feel out our options. It's all part of learning characters. Oh, you're dead. Never mind. Wow. I didn't think that was supposed to deal that much damage and satiated. Are you serious? Or did they buff the damage when they Okay. What do I know? Man, that kills.
Everybody mind your marks. Showtime.
Punch. How good is this called? Kind of unfortunate, but you did it to yourself. Not quite a confirm. She has no bullets. She now has bullets. We gotta stop running into that bubble. The bubble! Gotta be aware. Ooh, that's not much fun. I should have won that hit. She didn't bleed. Again. Oh, oh, oh. Oh no! That's so. That could have been game right then and there. That is the danger of relying on DP assist to do your defense for you. So if we want to talk about anti-neutral, just to kind of talk about your options. So, full screen, she kind of has threat. If you have the bar, because you can, that's the wrong one. React to them doing stuff. As long as you stay on the ground, you always have this as a threat, predictively or reactively, depending on who you're playing against. Very strong tool. Yeah, unfortunately, that kind of gets in the way. Oh, you can still get it. But yeah, so full screen with bar, you still kind of have threat, and you can leverage that into doing this. And even because it's a special, oh, whoops. Because this is a special, you can still use that on reaction while doing it. This, I'm not enough of an any player to know how I feel about this. Obviously, it is the I'm approaching tool, and it is quite good at that. But it is slow as hell and telegraphs you like crazy. So, use it sparingly to enforce space. But be careful about overusing it, because you can just straight up getting called out for using it. Other options. Running at them on the ground. Our ground dash isn't great. That's not awful. So this is where you kind of get into personal preference. Ideally, you use a lot of all of these tools. Most Annies really like sitting in this space and air dashing forward with jump medium punch. So you'll see them kind of sit in this range, do something like that. Obviously it's not great for this situation, but you'll see them do that, or up back and then air dash forward with jump medium punch. Strong tool. Use it. Do not use it too much. It is one of the most common things people see when playing this character, so they're used to dealing with it. But if you can force them to block a jump medium punch, you kind of get to run your offense. It does for you what double jump heavy punch does for her, which is just, it's a lot. It's really good if you land on people like this. So that's why a lot of enemies fish for it. You can play a bit of a different game, so if you want to like rising air-to-air people, which you were doing earlier, which I'd love to see, a 4-jump light kick is a very silly option. You can kind of play neutral, just making a wall. Obviously, you don't get very much reward for it. It needs to be done with intent, but quite good. If you feel like people are going to run at you, you can hold this and just make a wall. I wouldn't run forward doing it. This is a bad example because I did it at a weird spacing. Whoops. Okay, hit by that. But if you think they're going to approach you, you can use this to just buy time and react to what they do. And if they do something reactable, then you can kind of get in like that. And that's where dive kick is a really good tool. Especially using it reactively if people do something really slow and punishable. But so like you can do that and then you can air dash cancel it. So this is a really good waiting tool that you can then use to buy time and then figure out what your answer is from there. So again, you can go from this into jump medium kick. Or jump medium punch, sorry. And do the usual from there. Those are kind of the airborne routes to play neutral. Very common for Annies to do this because, again, how strong jump medium punch is for Annies. Annies don't as much like to play the grounded game, which makes sense, especially in certain matchups. Like, Annie has a lot of kind of matchup dependent things, but she does have some pretty good grounded buttons. I'm pressing the wrong button. So, medium punch is a really funny footsie tool. So, you approach on the ground, you wait for them to do something stupid, you hit them for it. Oops. So we're playing neutral? Okay. Oh, that was supposed to be just standard punch. Like, you can actually just play footsies while they punish people with this button. It's really funny. I forgot the ending route. There we go. So yeah, you get stuff like that. Pretty strong tool. Ito loves using this. Very good Annie. You have to pick and choose its moments. You can't just throw it out willy-nilly. It does have a lot of remembering. Strong tool. Obviously, you have the funny anti-air. It's got nerfed. You have to use it with intent. Other anti-air. Preemptive call-out option. Really solid anti-air. You get to do this, it'll combo, it'll drag them down on block. Pretty good tools. For crouch lights, it does its job. Crouch medium kick is really solid. Kid Buu normal. It doesn't reach quite as far, but it still goes pretty far, and it's entirely disjointed. Strong move, a little slow, be careful. Other bread and butter. Her ground thumb. What a stupid button. Just kill people. Just straight up kill people. So, those are kind of things to think about. So you have your air options where you can play for time. You can kind of force the issue and go in like that. You can wait and react accordingly to what's going on. So it's like, that's not a really good place to dive kick. It's a bad example. But you have options to diversify your control. So those are your air options. Obviously you have your ground options. You can just go in like that. The bubble tracks. Throw. The ground game is a little underrated. It's quite good. Well, I don't know, good might be an overstatement, but it can do the job. It's serviceable. I'll leave it at that. So like, you play around with those options. See what you prefer, see what you don't. Add them in instead of relying on dive kick as much as you do. Kind of just getting mixed. It happens. But Annie is a very player-expressive character. There's a handful of pretty strong options that, based on your preference, you will choose some over the others. And so you kind of just play the character a bit more and get a feel for it. Because dive kick's good in its moments, but not as much as you are using it. So again, I would recommend experimenting with the other things. In terms of the Murray, recommend... Sorry, I shouldn't smack my lips, especially on commentary. I just have not drank enough water tonight, and that's on me. Yeah, sorry, I'm distracted. That's a pet peeve of mine, so I notice when I do it as well. The Murray. Again, recommend thinking about lasers as I would rather undershoot than overshoot, and I think that will help with some of your zoning. The other part is just want you to think a little bit more about exactly what your zoning is hoping to achieve. Because right now it feels like you're zoning for the sake of zoning rather than zoning to a goal. And I don't know what most Maries try to force. Some of them try and force you to block the bunny. So they'll zone in a way that kind of gets you to hold down, and then the bunny blocks, they run at you and pressure behind it. Eye Control really loves using Copter to like get you just barely in range, force you to block something, into blocking Copter, into vacuumed in, into playing defense. There's a couple of different ways to play, and I just want you to kind of think about a little bit more of a thorough game plan. And it doesn't even need to be fully fleshed out. Just start putting a little bit more thought into, I would like to take space, so I'm going to use M laser and dash up behind it, sort of deal. Just start making tiny game plans, and then eventually they'll start growing up, fleshing themselves out, and you'll figure out what you do and don't like to do versus certain characters versus certain players, and all of a sudden, lo and behold, you've built a game plan over the course of a couple of months. It can be a very basic one, and it'll just keep growing the more you play. Again, I do not understand Marie to fully point you in the best direction, so I would recommend asking other Maries what's the intent behind their zoning, how do they go about setting that up. And I think that will help you a lot. Because the Marie felt like you were a bit comfortable with the character, but didn't have a solid game plan. And so you can start building that up. The other big thing was just your reliance on your DP assist for defense. Marie's defense isn't great. I 100% understand that. Do not let DP calling become your main way of playing defense. Because you do that, it becomes a habit. It becomes a habit, and the same thing with Kravodonk earlier that I was talking about. If people know what you're going to do on defense, they will tailor very specific game plans to punish you for it as hard as possible. So I will warn you against just mashing your DP assist call in block strings, like while you're on defense. Because it will get you mileage to a point, but then it might be too ingrained of a habit for you to do much about. At least very easily. So, start thinking about it now. It's not necessarily the worst habit in the world, but it needs to be an active choice, or you need to at least be able to turn it off. You need to recognize, okay, my opponent's playing around it, I will try and start calling it differently. You need to have a bit of a fine-tuned dial on it, so you can make those adjustments as needed. Other than that, I liked a lot of what I was saying. I really like your awareness to pick up off your DP assist. Any work in progress? You're getting there. Oh, one Annie button I forgot to talk about. 6 HP. It kind of... That's a bit more involved in terms of... No, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. Sorry. They don't need to worry about that. 6 HP, dabble with it a little bit. It's a funny, like... They'll never expect this option, and it'll catch some people off guard, especially with an assist behind you, to keep yourself safe. Most effective when your opponent's stuck in the corner. That is the like major caveat. That button is a lot more threatening when you can get easy combos off of it, which is what the corner helps you do. So, hope all that helps. I'll repeat it once more. You have any further questions? Please just ask in the Discord. Shoot me a ping and I'll get to it when I can. And if you... Wow, train of thought. If any question pertains to a specific timestamp really helps to give me context so I can answer as best as I can. But it's been 2 hours. We got through to 3 gamers. I'll probably throw y'all to Sage and Mixmasters. Have a good night, everybody. And catch y'all around.
And my spectator.
That's okay.
Oh, nice! Ooh!
Oh, we avoided
Let's go.
it. Nice.
Oh, let me see it.
Hey,
Here's the combo.